Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a die-hard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. Dak Prescott's future with the Dallas Cowboys is hanging in the balance, and the front office has a massive decision to make. The franchise quarterback is entering the final year of his contract, and with the way contracts are soaring in the NFL, the price tag for keeping him isn't going to be cheap. But the real question is, should the Cowboys commit to Dak for the long haul, or is it time to look in another direction? This is the $40 million question that could define the future of the Cowboys for years to come. Let's start with what we know. Dak Prescott has been the face of the Cowboys since taking over for Tony Romo in 2016. He's been a model of consistency, putting up solid numbers year after year and keeping Dallas competitive. But the one thing that continues to elude him and the Cowboys is postseason success. Last season was another bitter disappointment. The Cowboys entered the playoffs with high expectations, only to fall short yet again. This has been the recurring theme with Prescott. He's great in the regular season, but when it matters most, he and the Cowboys seem to falter. And in the NFL, where quarterbacks are judged on what they do in January and February, that's a major concern. But let's be fair. Dak Prescott isn't the only reason the Cowboys have struggled in the playoffs. Coaching decisions, defensive breakdowns, and a lack of playmakers in key moments have all played a role. Still, when you're the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, the pressure is different. The expectations are sky high, and if you're not delivering Super Bowls, you're going to hear the noise. So, what's the holdup on a new deal? Well, the biggest issue is money. Prescott is already making $40 million a year, and with the way quarterback contracts are structured now, he's going to want a raise. We've seen guys like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert reset the market, and Dak's camp is going to argue that he deserves to be paid on that level. But does he? That's where things get tricky. The Cowboys have to ask themselves a tough question. Is Dak Prescott good enough to get them to a Super Bowl? And is he worth tying up a massive portion of the salary cap for the next 4 to 5 years? If the answer is yes, then get the deal done. But if there's any doubt, then Dallas has to seriously consider other options. One option would be to let Dak play out his final year and see what happens. If he takes the Cowboys deep into the playoffs or even to a Super Bowl, then you pay him whatever he wants. But if it's another early exit, then maybe it's time to move on. The problem with this approach is that if Prescott plays well, his price tag only goes up. And if you let him hit free agency, there will be no shortage of teams lining up to sign him. Continuing with this strategy requires careful consideration of the risks involved. On one hand, allowing Dak Prescott to play out his final year provides the opportunity to evaluate his performance without the pressure of a long-term commitment. If he excels, leading the team deep into the playoffs or even to a Super Bowl, it would justify a significant investment in him. The Cowboys would be more inclined to offer him a lucrative contract based on his success, showing faith in his ability to lead the team. However, the flip side of this approach is that it places a tremendous amount of pressure on Prescott. He would need to perform at an elite level consistently throughout the season, knowing that his future with the team hangs in the balance. Additionally, if he does play well, the Cowboys could find themselves in a bidding war with other franchises vying for his services, especially if he showcases his skills in high-stakes situations. Moreover, the risk of injury is always a factor in the NFL. If Prescott were to suffer a significant injury during the season, it could severely impact his market value and the Cowboys' ability to negotiate from a position of strength. The uncertainty surrounding his health and performance introduces a layer of complexity to the decision-making process. Another consideration is the impact on the team's roster. If the Cowboys decide to let Prescott play out his contract, they may need to be strategic about their salary cap and roster moves in order to maintain a competitive team. A long-term commitment to Prescott could limit their flexibility to make other necessary acquisitions or extensions for key players. Ultimately, the Cowboys must weigh the potential outcomes carefully. If they choose to let Prescott play out his final year, they must have a contingency plan in place. This could involve scouting potential quarterback prospects in the draft or exploring trade options should they decide to move on. The stakes are high, and the decision will shape the direction of the franchise for years to come. Another option is the franchise tag, but that's not ideal. Tagging Prescott would cost the Cowboys an absurd amount of money for one season, and it doesn't solve the long-term issue. Plus, quarterbacks don't like playing on the tag, and it could create tension between Dak and the organization. So what about the draft? Could the Cowboys look for their next franchise quarterback there? It's possible, but it's a risky move. The Cowboys are picking in the mid to late first round, meaning they'd either have to get lucky or trade up to get a top-tier prospect. And even if they do, there's no guarantee that player will be better than Dak. Remember, finding a franchise quarterback isn't easy. Teams go decades searching for one, and the Cowboys know this better than anyone. But then there's the wild card, a potential trade. Could the Cowboys explore moving on from Dak and bringing in another veteran quarterback? If a guy like Justin Fields or even Kirk Cousins becomes available, would Dallas be interested? Or could they go all in and try to land a big name like Kyler Murray? These are the types of discussions happening behind closed doors at the Star. For now, Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office have a massive decision to make. Do they double down on Dak and pay him top dollar? Or do they roll the dice and try to find their next franchise quarterback? Either way, this decision is going to shape the Cowboys' future for years to come. Dak Prescott has done a lot of good things in Dallas. He's been a leader, he's been durable, and he's put up numbers. But in the NFL, it's all about winning championships. And until he delivers on that front, the questions about his future will continue. The Cowboys have been stuck in this cycle for years. Good enough to make the playoffs, but not good enough to win it all. And now, they have to decide if keeping Dak Prescott is the best way to break that cycle, or if it's time to start fresh. So Cowboys fans, what do you think? Should Dallas commit to Dak and lock him up for the future, or should they move on and find a new answer at quarterback? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Cowboys updates. This is one of the biggest decisions in franchise history, and we'll be following it every step of the way. Stay tuned.